Welcome to the No Guilt Fangirls podcast, where liking what you like is never a bad thing. Here's your host and head fangirl in charge, Patty Holiday.
Hey y'all, welcome to the No Guilt Fangirls podcast. I'm Patty Holiday, your host and head fangirl in charge. This week we're going to dive into general fandom talk maybe, and what drives fans and fangirls like us to do certain things. Things like show up at 2 a.m. to attend the opening day of a new Walt Disney World land. Because that's what we did today. We went to Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. When it opened, we were there. It was insane. And we're going to tell you all about it. On the show today, I have a few friends, and we all just got back from Batuu. And we're just going to say hi, so go ahead and start.
Hi, it's Jane.
And where can people find you, Jane? You act like you're new here. Where can people find you online, Jane?
Sorry, I'm a little tired, but I can be found on Instagram at RealMouseWifeWDW.
Hi, I'm Heather. I can be found hanging out at Run Disney Races.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Jill. I can be found at Jill's Toy Stories on Instagram.
Oh, did you take your pictures today?
I did.
Awesome. I haven't seen them yet. Okay. We're going to get around to all that discussion. All right. So why are we talking about this? We are talking about this because we made this grand plan. These ladies are all actually local Floridians, and you've all been. You went to the cast member preview. Mm-hmm. You went to AP previews. Yes. You've all been to Galaxy's Edge, so you really didn't need to be here. And I went to Galaxy's Edge last week in Disneyland, but I went to it last week, so like none of us really needed to do this, but we did anyway. We did anyway. And so we're going to kind of talk about like what makes us tick and why we do the things that we do. And Jane made a really interesting point on her Facebook page today. She did a discussion about why she does this. And she equated it to going to see the first run movies the first night they open.
Yes.
So expand a little bit on that.
I've seen Star Wars. I actually saw The Force Awakens a couple weeks after it came out, and the movie theater, I have to say, was fairly empty, which was really comfortable, and it allowed me to just, see the movie and have a regular movie experience. And then as I started to get into Marvel, start going to those movies, it was, you want to be there on opening weekend, and more importantly, you want to be there on opening night. Because there's nothing like seeing those movies with people who really love those movies, and they get excited, and the credits roll, and there's cheering, or, the
reaction
theme plays, and everybody gets really excited. And so, like, that level of excitement, it's really kind of the same thing going to an opening day.
Yeah, and I'm that person too. I love to go see movies. If I don't get a screening in advance because of press, which sometimes I do, but if not, I like to go opening night as well because I love the reaction of the crowd around me, and it heightens my movie experience for me. Do you guys do that at all, or are you more like it doesn't matter, I'll see it whenever?
Jane's been a huge influencer, so she's kind of transformed me.
Did you hear that? Like influencer.
Y'all, Real Mousewife WGW on Instagram. I am an influencer.
I've got that. I have to be there opening weekend, opening day bug, so it does make a huge difference. It changes the feel.
It does. It absolutely does. Yeah.
There's a lot more energy when you go that first night, or even the first weekend. Like through like the Sunday of opening weekend.
Correct.
There's just a different kind of energy, and people are cheering in the spots, and they're crying, and like there just is a different thing than when you go. I mean, I've seen, like Endgame. I saw it the very first night, and then I saw it weeks later, and it was a different experience both times.
Well, what's really funny is, I can use Endgame as a perfect example of this. I saw Endgame at the premiere. So I was in the room with all the Hollywood stars, and that's a totally different experience. Like, that's crazy. Anytime their friends or somebody new or whatever came on screen, people went wild. You have never heard so many cheers and screams like when the credits roll, not just for the stingers, but like the names, because they're all their friends and family are sitting right there going, I saw your name, ah! And so that's one experience. So that was my experience with Endgame. And then for Endgame, opening week, I didn't go that night. I went the next morning. I went at a 10 a.m. showing, and it was dead silent. Nobody cheered. Nobody did anything at 10 a.m. And I was like, do you guys not realize what you're watching? This is amazing. Like, where are you? They were just totally quiet. And I was like, that's the most bizarre thing. I went again to Endgame. I want to say it was either that night, that Friday night, or maybe it was Saturday night with my family. And again, a night crowd. They were all insane again. So, I mean, it's just kind of weird that this is what people do. But by and large, I love that experience of that opening night, which is, I think, why we did what we did today, which is exhausting, guys. It was exhausting. We are all just sitting here kind of going, wow, did we really just go through all of this? But we went and lined up at 2 a.m. this morning with a couple hundred other fellow fanboys and fangirls to get in first. I mean, Galaxy's Edge doesn't go anywhere. These ladies live here. They can chop in for lunch at Galaxy's Edge if they want to. But and I made a trip specifically to be here for opening weekend, right? So we did all of this to ourselves. You know, we're not complaining. We willingly did this. But that's what we kind of want to talk about, is like, why are we willingly doing this? And what was our experience like today? Now, before we go any further, this was the first time I have ever been to an official opening day, first day of a land at a Disney World or Disney Park. I had been to Toy Story Land for the media preview, but I didn't go into the park that day. But you guys did.
Right.
So you're like experts at this now.
Kind of. Well, we wing it.
Yeah.
But we always have an end goal in mind when we go, and Jane is the organizer of the shirts and the outfits, so we always look super cute for the gram.
I know my role.
But again, it goes back to that vibe, that atmosphere, the drawing, the energy from the crowd, and you just kind of feel yourself getting pulled in.
What was it about Toy Story Land that made you want to go? Like, does anybody have a real tie to Toy Story, or was that just more of a general Disney fandom? It's new and it's exciting and I want to go. Or were you pulled because it was Toy Story?
I love Toy Story.
Yeah.
I love the Toy Story movies. And for me, I was really excited because I in my head, I had built it up and they succeeded. But in my head, I wanted it to be like Cars Land because California is really my happy place. So I was like, oh, it's going to be great, and it's going to be super themed. And it really was the first of the lands here that we got that had that kind of
immersion that
they're going for. So for me, it was perfect.
I think for me, Toy Story was, like, obviously having children, raising them, growing up on the Toy Story series. So kind of seeing how do they bring that world to life and bring those toys.
And you took your daughter too, right?
Both girls went.
Okay.
Both girls went.
So that's fun.
Yeah, that was a good time. And same thing, we were up.
A great time.
Out there with everybody, having a good time, taking all the pictures, waiting, singing the Mickey Mouse Club song with the cast members. It was a good time.
That's awesome.
I think the thing that I like the most is just like this morning, the cast members were so excited. They've worked so hard on this land for months and months and months, and now we get to see it officially.
I'm such a dork. Like you saying that, I'm getting tears.
So happy as they were cheering as we came in, and they were all like, bright suns, and they were all just like, really excited and happy to show off their kid, their baby.
Well, and it's funny you put it into that perspective, because when we were in there, I was taking a picture of, I don't know, Chewie or something when he was out after anyway. And I turn around and I basically run into a cast member who's walking straight at me, and I'm trying to focus. Guys, I didn't get any sleep. I didn't know what was going on at this point. I'm like, what did I do? Like, why is she coming at me? Anyway, it's a friend of mine. It's a friend of mine that I actually have not seen probably in 2 or 3 years. And Rachel came up and she was just like, hey. And I said, oh my gosh, I am so happy I got to see you. And so we talked for a little bit, and I told her, you've got to be so proud of everything you did. And I kind of told her the story, how we all felt when we walked in and we saw all the cast members' expressions and their faces, and how like they had tears in their eyes watching our faces dork out and get so excited about being in this land. And she said, yeah, I feel like a proud mama. And I was like, oh, that's exactly what it is. Like, they worked really hard to make this magic happen. And so it was really cool. So So let's just do a brief rundown of what happened this morning. Jane, what did we do? What happened? You start because you didn't sleep. You were monitoring things. You were our monitor. You were our phone monitor.
Social media.
I tried to go to sleep, and I basically took a nap, which, you know, I have to tell the whole story. So I was joking yesterday that I was going to go to Jelly Rolls and stay out till 2 a.m. and then just roll straight from Jelly Rolls into the line for Galaxy's Edge and just pull the all-nighter and go with it. And then I was like, that's funny because you're 42. So I just accepted myself and put myself to bed. And I went to bed around 10 o'clock and was like, we'll get a couple hours sleep. It'll be fine, whatever. And I slept for about an hour, and I woke up, and it wasn't like I had like super excitement. I was just like, I'm awake. I actually heard a guest come in another room, and the opening and closing of the door woke me up. And I was like, I can't believe I'm up. So I started on social media, as one does, being like, where is the line? What's going on? Let me like figure it out. It's midnight. And a friend of ours had posted that they had moved this line of about 50 people to the boardwalk path. So the path from the boardwalk to Disney's Hollywood Studios, there's a bridge. And she was like, we're here. We live here now. It's Bridgetown.
And this is what, like at midnight? Oh, she told me she got there at 12:15. So
yeah, 12:15 she was there. And I think I saw it like 4 minutes after she posted. So she was in Bridgetown and she was updating us. She had dubbed somebody the mayor.
The mayor of Bridgetown. I guess who is in charge.
Be warned that if you do this, you might go a little crazy. But, you know, so I just watched her post, and then she was talking about more and more people coming, about 200. 1:30, Patty wakes up because her alarm goes off, and I'm like, okay, so what do you want to know? Here's what's going on, Bridgetown. And she's like, let's go, get out of bed, come on, we gotta go. And I was like, all right, I'm moving to Bridgetown.
I was like, look, Bridgetown is calling us. Like, it's got a name now. Like, we need to go. We have a destination. Let's go to Bridgetown with all our people.
I wish somebody had videoed it, because that is exactly what she was like. She was like, let's go. It's Bridgetown. I was like, all right, I'm in. I heard you. And so I tiptoe out into the kitchen to get a drink, and the other two are like, what's going on? What's going on? And I was like, well, Bridgetown.
And then we started laughing, and we said, we're so cute. We should have a podcast.
So
here we are. Yeah. So we had to have this discussion about Bridgetown. So we finally got everybody up and moving. I was ready to go first. So I went ahead and hit the road. Because that's also something about me. Like, once my mind is set, I just go, right? So Jane still had to put makeup on. Everybody else was trying to get dressed. And I was off to Bridgetown. And on my way there, I ran into the vice mayor of Bridgetown, which is what I decided he had to be named. A security guard on a... I hope people understand, like, the whole Bridgetown thing. Otherwise, we're going to be listening to this, dying laughing, and they're going to be like, what are they smoking? Guys, we're not smoking anything. We're just really tired. Really tired.
Naps have not been had.
Naps have not happened yet.
Super punchy.
Yes. Anywho, so I went out and immediately ran into this security guard, and he, basically told me what was up. Morning.
Are you headed to Hollywood Studios?
Yes.
Okay, just so you know, I was told about 45 minutes ago that the entrance still isn't open, but the park's supposed to open up at 4 a.m. So once you go this way, they're kind of stopping everybody right around the bridge area along Boardwalk.
That was my plan, was just to go hang out with those people.
Yeah, no worries. Just let everybody know.
Awesome. Thanks for letting me know.
You got it. Enjoy it. It's a really great area.
I can't wait.
Okay. I love it.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Have a great day.
You too. Peace out. So I went down and I got in line with the fine folks down there. And at that point, I walked up and down the line a little bit, and it was probably 200-300 people. I think it was growing by the minute, but it wasn't like a huge influx of people. It was just a decent size. And what they were being told by the person in charge down there was that this was the only line, this was the official line, that this line would be the first one to be let in. And that was mostly true. mostly true. What ended up happening is the other ladies ended up showing up. We hung out for a little bit. We moved a little bit by little bit by little bit until they finally said, okay, we're going now. And we started walking to Hollywood Studios. And then what happened?
The buses arrived.
The buses arrived.
And the people were insane. They were sprinting off the bus.
Let me tell you.
Like, calm down.
Citizens of Bridgetown had it together. They were all very orderly, very neat, very careful, very calm, very collected. They were not fighting. They were not running. They were not pushing. They were cool. But those bus people.
I don't know what village they were from, but it was not okay.
It was not Bridgetown. They were not invited to the party. So the folks in the bus, we walked up right as the bus pulled up. The first bus pulled off, and people started getting off the bus, and they just merged into our line. But they were running, so they merged into the line. And at that point, things got crazy. I think we actually all lost each other, and we ended up in different security lines, and. Somehow, miraculously, that we all kept finding each other.
Yeah.
So it worked out okay. We found ourselves at the turnstiles. We were like 4 and 5 people in. Like, we were right there at the front of the turnstiles, ready to go, ready to get in. And they held us there until right at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Then we scanned magic bands. Yep. And we headed down. What is that street?
That's Hollywood Boulevard.
Thank you. I called it Main Street of Hollywood Studios.
It's absolutely Hollywood Boulevard.
All right, so they sent us down about halfway down Hollywood Boulevard and then held us there. And you got to remember, guys, this is Florida in August in the morning, which means
Humid.
Really humid.
Your sweat has sweat.
it's so gross. It's just disgusting.
Yeah.
It was gross. And when you're packed in with that many
so
people.
Close.
Humanity should not be that close to other people.
Right.
It's just not.
And at this point, you would be thinking, like, why are you doing this? You've already piloted the Millennium Falcon. You do not need to be here. But I tell you what, I had a smile on my face the entire time. Everyone was so cool and so fun and so exciting that it was great. The only thing I have to call somebody out, and I don't know who you are. There's somebody out there thought it was funny to do SpongeBob SquarePants. Like, she started the song, and then people would, like, repeat the end of the song or whatever, which was fine. It was funny, haha. Except that the little kid standing next to me kept singing it over and over and over and over and over again. Y'all, I don't do SpongeBob, period.
We didn't have that experience.
Because you guys were in a better spot than me. I was by the SpongeBob kid.
Yeah, there was SpongeBob.
Oh, my gosh. He would not stop. And it was really, really early in the morning, and I wanted to be I wanted to be me as a mom and be like, oh my God, would you just shut up? But I was like, that's not my kid. Like, I can't yell at somebody else's kid. So I had to be cool. And he was having fun. And if the worst thing he was doing that day was sing SpongeBob, then have at it, right? So luckily, we started moving. And we finally moved all the way down to right in front of Batuu. Mm-hmm. And they held us there. For how long did they hold us there?
It wasn't long. It was like maybe 5 or 10 minutes.
I was thinking maybe like 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not too bad.
I couldn't remember. But guys, there was no fanfare. I honestly,
No.
that's my semi disappointed. Is I was looking across the top of the, what is that, like the bridge or
Like the bunker or whatever.
Yeah, whatever that is, like the gates of Batuu, and I was hoping to see like stormtroopers come out or the Hondo come out or something. There was absolutely no fanfare, not even a big announcement, like not even music. Like they didn't even like do dun 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 dun. Like we got nothing. We just they just like let us in.
Yeah.
I would have taken a projection even.
Yeah, something.
That would have been cool.
Something. It
Yeah,
would have
just
been
something
cool.
projected up there. But yeah, I thought the same thing. I was like, there needed to be a little more.
A little oomph, a little something.
There was a short blurb while we were on Hollywood Boulevard. There was a short little loudspeaker announcement, but then that was it.
Yeah, and that was more just
Welcoming.
welcome and don't run, and which people ignored.
No one listened to.
Yeah, that's the other thing too. This crowd was 90% adults,
Yeah.
10% kids. I've never seen adults run. I mean, they ran more than they do at Run
Run
Disney
Disney
races.
Agreed.
Like they were insane.
It was like Black Friday, like
It really was. That
Really
was
beat
that was kind of
everybody
that's actually a
everywhere.
really good example. If you don't like Black Friday crowds, you would hate this.
yeah, this is not for you.
This is not for you. But if you kind of like that energy and that feel and that craziness, which I always have, like Black Friday has always been so much fun, then that's a kind of you can equate it to that. I think if you've never, you'd say that. So then they let us in, and that's when like the waterworks started and like the tears started, because honestly, when I went into Disneyland's Batuu, it was just a regular Thursday evening. There was no massive crowd of people. It was just me and my friend walking in. And when you walk in, you hear all the music and you hear all the ambiance and the sounds that they have built in to bring you into and I had goosebumps everywhere, and I was so like, oh my gosh, look what they did. That was my reaction when I first went to Batuu on Disneyland. When I first went into Batuu this morning, I was, oh my gosh, please don't step on my feet. That was my response. Like I couldn't even appreciate what was going on around me for what it was, because there was just way too many people.
It was a lot. And
it was lines with cast members, which was really nice.
That was my
And I
favorite
loved seeing them all there, and that you could tell they were all like thrilled, and they were cheering and all. But the crowd we were in, it was hard. We were trying to make sure that the little girl near us didn't get trampled, because the adults were just barreling through. I mean, I'm a grown up. I'm not a spring chicken, and like, I was like, are you people crazy? Like,
Right.
Why are you running and knocking over like kids?
Well, we had Bonnie, a
Yeah.
friend that we had met in line, and she had her son with her, but he was in between. So I was like, let me get in front of you so that at least you'll grab me, and then your mom's right behind you. So like we kind of had him sandwiched, because they weren't really 100% sure where to go. And I knew exactly where I was going, because we were, okay guys, we had a plan. We all knew that if we had separated, we'll meet you at the Millennium Falcon. Like, that's where we're going. Also, that's where everybody is going. It was like, can you get lost? No, because they're taking you here.
Well, and that was the thing that I also thought was weird, is that we had no choice. They lined us with the cast members, which was neat from a touchy-feely perspective, but it also served a purpose. And that was the crowd control, and that was to herd the cats into one location in one place. And I'm sure there was a reason behind what they did and the way they did it. I don't know. But literally everybody went to Smuggler's Run. If you didn't get a choice, you didn't get to peel off and look at something else. You didn't get to go get in line for your droid at that point. You went to Smuggler's Run. I don't know when they like loosened that up and they let people get out and move. They must have by the time we got off the ride, because people were in line at that point for the droid and for the lightsaber situation and that sort of thing. But it was just, that was kind of weird to me.
The initial like rush of all of us, because then it did kind of, I think, taper off a bit. I mean, it was obviously still crowded, but it wasn't like, whew.
No, I mean, yeah, they opened things up, but for the immediate, when we showed up, they weren't letting you go anywhere but the Millennium Falcon.
Right,
so it's kind of weird. But what was neat about that, it may have just been there for crowd control, but the positive about it all was that we got to interact a little bit with the cast members. I was giving high fives. I was telling them thank you. I was like crying and getting all teary, and I didn't expect that reaction. I really didn't.
No.
Yeah, I thought, because I'd already been to Batuu, I thought this would just be fun and exciting, but not like emotional feeling. But I think it was when you're face to face with these cast members, and I was looking them in the eye to tell them thank you, and I saw the tears in their eye. Like, they're so proud. This is something they've been working on for months, some years, to be a part of. And it was a big day. It was a big, big, big experience for them too. So thanks, cast members. You guys are awesome.
And it was very seamless, very smooth transition through the land, because it was dark. I think that was my biggest struggle, is that I couldn't see where I was going. I couldn't really slow down so that I could take in what I needed, because there was a crush of people behind me.
Right.
But the cast members were like, just keep swimming, just keep swimming. And so we all did, and we hit Smuggler's Run at a perfect time.
Yeah.
Well, and here's the funny thing is I saw your ears. I saw your hair. Jill has very distinct hair. She's got this bright pink hair. So, I was able to kind of keep your ears and her hair, I was able to keep them in my eyesight. They were not far from me, but at some point we separated to such an extent. They went through the standby line, and when we were standing in that standby line, I realized it was wrapped like around and was going through the show building, and so it was this really, really, really long line. Somehow our front row of the turnstile turned out to be like way the heck back. Like we got smoked by people. And so the three of us that were behind, we just made the decision at that point to do single rider. So Millennium Falcon has a single rider line, and it was open. So we jumped into that line, and I was texting Jane and letting her know that's where we were, and she was like, "Oh, we're already like halfway through. I mean, we're at the point where we're about to get on."
We just kept walking, so like the
a
line looked
Yeah.
long,
Yes.
but we never stopped moving the entire length of the queue, which was fabulous.
Yeah, when we made that decision, they had just changed the time from 10-minute wait to 120-minute wait. And that's when I went single rider. But it worked out that we could do that because all three of us had already ridden in California, and Sarah had been here for the AP preview, so we didn't feel like we were missing anything by not going through the queue and whatever. Anyway, so we did the single rider, and when we got off, we all ended up meeting up again at Dock Bay 7, right? That's what it's called, Dock Bay 7. And we ate, which is not good. No offense, but it's not. Fix it, Disney. We didn't like it. That was for breakfast. I don't know. I can't speak for lunch, but we didn't care for it. But the sporks are back.
Guys, these sporks, I don't know.
They're really cool.
If there's anyone out there who has not been, this is not a KFC sport.
No.
This is not
This is a Batuu
forky.
sport.
No. This is an industrial metal spork. This is the spork of sporks. And not one of us took one.
No, we didn't. None of us took. None of us.
One.
Super tempting.
None of us took a spork. But you know what? That's a Run Disney costume waiting to happen.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
I think
the headpiece, like totally.
I think we all need to be sporks for the Run Disney 5K in April.
The spork.
You might get me to run again.
We're gonna be sporks, team spork. All right, so we'll get back to that later. But yeah, so after we ate, we got up, we walked around a little bit more. I think
some pictures.
We did a couple of fun PhotoPass pictures. I think you guys have all done. You've made the droids that wanted to, right? Did you?
I didn't yet.
Not yet.
I'm going to.
Okay.
Eventually.
We have reservations booked, so ours are coming up. So we have that.
Okay.
We got cool specific opening day, first day photos.
Yes.
So we got the really cool overlays. That was fun.
Yeah.
That was fun. And then we watched the sunrise
Over Batuu.
over Batuu, and then after that we were like, peace out. 10-minute wait at Tower of Terror. We're going.
It was a lot of people, and not like, I don't want to make it sound like it wasn't packed. It's packed. There's just wall-to-wall people, and even like we tried to go into the marketplace to go into a couple of places, and it was hard to get in there, and it's like, okay, but I've kind of already been in them, and I know that I'm going to come back later. So at that point, it was just about like making the choices, and Tower was 10 minutes.
That was a good choice.
And I was close to coming back for cheesy potatoes. So.
Yeah, guys, if you don't know this, there's a marketplace at the Beach Club that has these incredible cheesy potatoes, and they are thebomb.com, and so we had to come and eat those. That was our secondary breakfast because we didn't really care for what we ate at Docking Bay 7. But we did like the spork. I don't know. Is that does it equal out? Does it make it a win? No, it does not. All right. So yeah, that's our experience. Any takeaways from this opening day experience as a fangirl? Like, what do you think? And do you?
So I went shopping.
Yes.
And I managed to buy a few things. I know everyone's shocked. I went shopping. But they actually had it really well organized. It was separated out, so it wasn't. They had stuff in the land, but also they had stuff over by Tower. And they had queues, and you got in line, and they had a flyer. So I could take a paper flyer that had all of the stuff on it. I could figure out what I wanted while I was standing in line.
Oh, that's smart.
And the line wasn't horrible. And even going 4 hours after opening when we were in the store, and I managed to get all the pins I wanted. I got the limited edition magic bands that I wanted, the annual pass one. Like, I got the stuff. A couple hours later, it was organized. Everybody was well-mannered, and there was air conditioning in the shop. It was gorgeous. So it was fabulous. But one of the things I did want to mention is when we were having our PhotoPass photos taken, there was a cast member named Howie, who was just awesome.
Holla Howie.
Seriously, like he was like positioning us and like making sure we were all in a good like light, and he was good. So cast compliment.
Yes.
Awesome.
Everybody, all the casts were so incredibly proud and happy, and just like welcome to our new home. In the merchandise shop, it was all hands on deck. So we waited maybe a minute for a register, which
that's great.
It's pretty awesome. Plenty of merchandise. Plenty of merchandise. So nobody felt that need to like grab all the things so nobody gets anything.
Right. Not that hoarding mentality, that feel.
It was really, really nice.
That's good. Well, I'm glad that they had enough stuff out so that you could see that this is nothing to panic over. You're gonna get what you want. Just wait your turn.
Yeah.
Wait your turn. Yeah, I definitely felt that too. Like every cast member that we talked to and that we interacted with were happy and pleasant and smiling, and I know it's going to be a really long day, but I also think they'd been probably at work since like 2 o'clock. I mean, the same amount of time that we'd been in line, they'd probably been at work preparing for this craziness. And by the time we left, do you guys remember what that line looked like?
Yep.
So that on the app, it said that Smuggler's Run had a 3 hour and 30 minute 3 hour and 30 minute wait time. And somebody on Twitter, I wish I remember who said it. Sorry, I apologize that I'm not giving you credit. But somebody on Twitter said, we're almost at that point where it would take less time to get on a plane and fly to California and ride the Smuggler's Run there.
It was 300 minutes when we got off our line.
Yeah.
So that's 6 hours.
I know. It's nuts. It's nuts. And the line to get on this, like, went on and on and on. It literally went all the way through the land and wrapped all the way back out to the exit where you would go.
The Toy Story
exit. The Toy Story exit.
It was longer.
It was so long. It was crazy. And at that point, they had installed the boarding pass system. So you had to get a boarding group to be able to go on, and that's a whole nother thing. And so they had this crowd control set up that they did allow all this initial rush, these initial people that wanted to be in there for that initial excitement and craziness to do so. Which, for me, as a first time to doing this, I have no regrets in the sense that YOLO, and I don't know if people still say that, but I say it, YOLO. But there's only one opening day. So even if I'd experienced it at Disneyland or at a cast member preview or whatever, I still feel like this was a special event and a special thing. And I can tell that you guys do too, because that's why you were here.
Yeah.
I mean, I said one of the greatest things was as they were herding us in like cattle, and you come through the different areas in the land, and then you turn and everybody could see the Millennium Falcon. Now, I've seen it before, and actually all of us have actually seen it before. So for us, it's not the same, and it's kind of like when you turn onto Main Street and you see the castle. Well, I've seen the castle 175 million times, so I don't have the wow. I love it, but I don't have wow. Well, when you turn that corner and there's 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 people around you, and all of them go, oh my God, I immediately like threw my phone up and was like, I have to get this on video, because everyone else's reaction to the Millennium Falcon was so cool. And I was like, this is great. Like,
you want to be like, right? That's what I've been saying.
Say it. Go ahead. Tell me how it is. Not all at once, though.
I know. Yeah, no, it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. So will you do it again? Will you go to another opening day?
Before we walked in, I was on you, Heather. I was like, what's next? I was like,
January.
Remy something? No, Runaway Railway something. We'll be there.
Yeah. Well, what about Rise of the Resistance? Aren't you going to get in line for that?
Oh, yeah.
December 5th.
Yeah.
Mark your calendars.
Yeah,
she literally is writing on her calendar.
I'm like, what day of the week is that?
Can I take off?
I'm hoping for Rise of the Resistance we do pass holder previews.
Right.
We do something that kind of gets us a chance to get in it and see it. Fingers crossed. Disney listening. Yeah,
I'm positive they're listening to my podcast.
I think every time I'm on your podcast, we talk about, hey, Disney, call me.
Spoiler alert, they have not called me yet. But anyway, so yeah, all right, well, I think we're going to wrap that up and head back to Batuu. Just kidding. We're going to go take naps because we're exhausted. But I will be back with the Daily-ish Fangirl and the Monday Movie Minute next week. Until then, if you like what you heard today, please throw up those 5 stars, leave a review. It helps other fangirls find us, and fangirling is no fun to do alone. So thanks for listening to the No Guilt Fangirls podcast, and thanks for coming on, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.